Good morning. And before you ask, no, I'm not coping. I really thought that our man Andrew was just gonna hobble on back to Hangman's Tree because that's where he lives in my head, and just hide out for another half decade before it's ready to drop another album, because that's the schedule we've been used to. But no, the Irish Friendly Giant has decided to drop an archive track, and that's not even the end of it this year. There's more to come, which I'm definitely not complaining about because that means a lot more content that hopefully people will want to watch. So we got an acoustic version of B from the Wasteland Baby album because it's celebrating 5 years since its birthday. And not only is it acoustic, it's actually like the original, or an early sketch, as Hozier put it himself. And it definitely differs from the original, so I'm sort of treating it as a whole brand new song. And I'm really excited to dig into it with you. The album version of B is very powerful. It's got gospel elements, it's got rock elements, it's got that very steady driving beat, and this acoustic version is so peaceful in comparison. Hozier described it as lullabetical, which I think is my new all-time favorite made-up word. It's just so fucking lovely. I'm adding it to my list of like potential tattoos. If the album version is the concert, this acoustic version is like the sleepy drive home after you've had your cup filled. I think it was actually really clever to release this specific track at this moment. I'm sure there are so many archive tracks that he could have released, but there's something special about this one in particular because it really gives us a chance to reflect on the past 5 years. This song was very much a response to a political climate and the feelings of despair and confusion that came with it. And it was penned not long after a huge political shift in 2016. And it's interesting to see where we've come from then and if we've even changed that much now. Unfortunately, in regards to a lot of issues, we're not exactly time rich. What we do in the next decade really determines the future of our planet and our society and the endurance of it all. I read the other day that tigers only have 8 years before they're extinct, and that I can't even think about that without crying because they're my favorite animal. But that's pretty insane. And so 5 years is a really substantial amount of time in terms of our potential impact. So as I said before, it's presented us with a really great opportunity to reflect. So let's start with this first verse. Be as you've always been. Be like the love that discovered the sin, that freed the first man and will do so again. And lover, be good to me. Be that hope when Eden was lost. It's been deaf to our laughter since the master was crossed. Which side of the wall really suffers the cost? And lover, be good to me. So immediately we see that this song is asking their lover to remain true and unwavering in the face of adversity. Hozier described it as part prayer, part lullaby, and part request. He needs that anchor when the waters are rough. And of course we get that Hozier hallmark religious imagery, and we're focused on the book of Genesis. And as an ex-Christian who tried to get through the Bible a number of times, Genesis is one I know well because I had to reread it so many times. I'm sure most of you are very aware of the story of Adam and Eve, but if you're not, I'll give you a quick overview, which I have actually stolen from SparkNotes because they summarize it better than I can. The book of Genesis opens the Hebrew Bible with the story of creation. God, a spirit hovering over an empty, watery void, creates the world by speaking into the darkness and calling into being light, sky, land, vegetation, and living creatures over the course of 6 days. Each day he pauses to pronounce his works good. On the 6th day, God declares his intention to make a being in his own image, and he creates humankind. He fashions a man out of dust and forms a woman out of the man's rib. God places these two people, Adam and Eve, in the idyllic Garden of Eden, encouraging them to procreate and enjoy the created world fully, and forbidding them to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. In the garden, Eve encounters a crafty serpent who convinces her to eat the tree's forbidden fruit, assuring her that she will not suffer if she does so. Eve shares the fruit with Adam, and the two are immediately filled with shame and remorse. While walking in the garden, God discovers their disobedience. After cursing the serpent, he turns and curses the couple. Eve, he says, will be cursed to suffer painful childbirth and must submit to her husband's authority. Adam is cursed to toil and work the ground for food. The two are subsequently banished from Eden. Adam has to farm for food, but Eve has to push kids out of her vagina. and do everything our husband says. Okay. Now, what I love about this song is that Hozier reimagines the original sin as an act of protest and radical love. Eve gifts Adam, or offers him up, the freedom of knowledge instead of the restraints of obedience. And I mean, this song could really be the opening statement for a thesis about this new lens to view the story through. It's been deaf to our laughter ever since the master was crossed. In this act, God is betrayed. He has been crossed, and they have chosen their own free will, and instead of suffering, what they experience is actual joy, and it's an admirable thing. And I think there's a lot of parallels we can draw from this. We can think of Eden as elite society, where they all play by the rules of the masters, but we know, it's an old age truth that money doesn't make you happy. And so while these people are in Eden counting their money, the people on the outside are laughing at them because they know what true joy is and they know where that comes from. The whole idea of utopia and that only being accessible to the very privileged, which can really be compared to religion in the way that they advocate for this pursuit of purity and perfection, and doing that regardless of how that may detrimentally affect those that don't fit that image. The line, which side of the wall really suffers that cost, is so genius, because it ties in with the Bible story and it also ties in with that political context. So who does suffer that cost when you deny entry to those deemed unworthy? Adam and Eve faced consequences, but I would say that they are consequences that we handle quite well today. We've really adapted, and through being deprived of that easy life, we've been able to engineer some pretty incredible ways to work with these disadvantages. So then you have to consider, well, who was really deprived the most? You could argue that maybe it was those that remained in Eden, because now, God has missed out on loyal followers, because there are so many of us that laugh at the idea of a benevolent God being so quick to punish their own children, supposedly, in such wicked ways. And Eden has missed out on our humanity and our ingenuity and critical thinking and our love. And of course, in 2016, a wall was the center of a lot of conversations, Trump's wall, and it's kind of an identical situation. If America is Eden, who loses more? America loses empathy. They lose exchange of cultures, which adds to the already staggering gap of knowledge of the average American on cultures outside of their own. They lose families being able to freely see each other. And you lose the faith and the confidence of the people that you serve that already know that division is not the answer. Be as you've always been, true to the time and the place you've been given. Your heart in the world and a world there within, and lover, be good to me. He's requesting a radical authenticity to context from his partner. Like right now, under these circumstances, where we are in the world, stay true to who you are. Your heart in the world and a world there within is so stunning. Again, that's another thing I'm adding to my list of potential tattoos, because it's just that acknowledgement of the inner world that everyone has to live with, and how the way you stand in this inner world is so connected to the way you stand within the outer world. It's almost a call to courage, asking this person to be steady and resolute in who they are first, so that they can remain unwavering in the face of adversity. I just feel like Andrew understands humanity to its core, and I really do look to him as a teacher. As a neurodivergent person, sometimes I don't always feel confident in my perception of things, and I just really enjoy being able to listen to him, and it helps to ground my beliefs in something real and solid and something that other people are able to clearly see. Be there and just as you stand, or be like the rose that you're told in your hand, that grows bold in a barren and uneasy land, and lover, be good to me. Again, it's just this request for a resilient and authentic presence. It's so easy to be shaken in times like these, but I think we need to remember that it's the resilient that make it, It's the ones that didn't grow up with privilege that survive because we know how to adapt and we know how to fight. It reminds me of that Alicia Christensen quote. Here's the thing about wildflowers. They take root wherever they are. They grow strong through the wind, rain, pain, sunshine, blue skies, and starless nights. They dance even when it seems there is nothing worth dancing for. They bloom with or without you. I think there's definitely an element of Hozier's Irish heritage that comes through in this last part of the song. Obviously, Ireland is a place that has suffered multiple famines and long periods of time where their land has become marginal and not able to produce crops. So really, the Irish are these stubborn roses that insist on blooming on barren land. And that's what I love most about this song. It is so endlessly layered and there are so many meanings that you can bring out of it. And that is where I now hand it over to you. I know there is more to be extracted from this song and I can't wait to see what you guys think in the comments. As I say in all of these videos, this is just my opinions. And the wonderful thing about art is that all opinions are valued. That is something that we actively encourage and celebrate on this channel. So please feel free to express yourself to your heart's content. I cannot wait to see what else Hozier has in store for us. Literally 5 minutes before I started filming, I saw that he was coming to Australia and he's including Perth. So as soon as I stop this, I am going to be having a fat cry. I just didn't want to mess up my makeup. If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Honor, and we have a great little community here in our little corner of the internet. And if you would like to join us, it would be a privilege to have you. And all you have to do is subscribe. I hope you have a lovely day and I will see you very, very soon.